Hi everybody, I'm here to give you an overview of our Google Sheets project. So I'm going to walk you through the steps one at a time. We'll also go over this when we're together in our Google Meet session too. So let me share my screen with you so that way you can follow along. And you're going to start by just opening up a new Google tab, okay? So just go to google.com. You want to make sure that you're signed in to your school account. So over on the left-hand side, if you hover over the little picture, it should be a picture of you. Make sure it's your school account though, okay? If it's not, click on it and then you can sign out and sign back in, okay? Next, we want to click on these little 9 dots. Sometimes they're called the waffle. And that will, if you click on it, there we go. It'll take you to all of the Google apps that you have. So we want to click on Drive. And then your Google Drive will open. You can also just type in drive.google.com and it will take you to your Drive, but you have to make sure that you're signed into your school Gmail account, okay? And then we're gonna go to New on the left-hand side, and you're gonna type or click on Google Sheets, and it will open a new Google spreadsheet for you, okay? Now, first thing you need to do is you need to title your spreadsheet. So on the directions, I say we wanna call it Google Sheets project, and then you're going to put your name. So I'll put Mrs. Miller, okay? And then once you hit enter, then it's titled and Google automatically saves everything to your drive, okay? So you can stop and you can go back in and work on this at any other time. It will be there for you. You could also star it if you want to make it easy to find, okay? But our goal is to set up a payroll account for people that are salespeople and they work on commission, okay? So on the direction sheet, it talks about that. And we're going to have columns for every little piece. We're going to go through A through G, okay? So the first column that we need is our column for our salespeople. So we're just going to click on A1 and type salesperson. And then you can hit enter. If you click on it again and then click the B, it will make it bold. So usually for a heading, we like to make it bold so that it just shows up a little bit better, okay? On the direction sheet as well, it's got the little table with everybody's names. So you're just gonna type in their last names. Boyce is one of their last names, and then just hit enter. Then we have Elkins, whoops. You can see my typing skills. And then Cubic, and then Mangs. So those are our 4 salespeople, okay? So now you've already completed step 8 of your directions already. The next column is going to be our sales, and we're gonna title this April Sales. Again, hit enter and then click on it again and type the B, make it bold. That way we know what it is, that's the heading. And then again, on the direction sheet, it tells you the sales that everybody had. So Boyce had 53,000. You don't have to put the commas, just hit enter. And then we had 48,000 and then 92,000 in sales and then 64,000 in sales. So just make sure you have all the zeros. Okay, so already we're done with the first 9 steps on the direction sheet. Okay, now column C through the rest through F. These get a little tricky. Okay, now column C is where we're going to find the 1.5% commission, because this company that these people work for, they give them 1.5% commission. Okay, so we're going to call this, whoops, capital C, commission, and then we're going to put 1.5% in parentheses. Now notice when you do that and then hit enter, the typing goes over the box. So if you hover over the line between C and D and then drag it, it'll give you a little more room there. So you can adjust the size of the column as you go. Then click on the box and make it bold, okay? Now we have to tell Google how to calculate 1.5% of the April sales, okay? So we're gonna click on C2. And anytime we're trying to put in a formula, we always hit equals. So just hit equals. And then we want to take whatever's in this column. So I'm just going to click on B2 because I'm in C2. So I'm going to click on B2. and then I'm going to type the little star to multiply, and then I'm going to type in 0.015 and then hit enter. And Google automatically calculates 1.5% of this number over here. You could check it on your calculator if you wanted to, okay? Now we got to do that for everybody, so Google makes this super easy. When you click on this box, you get a blue rectangle, and there's this little blue square there. You just click and drag it down. There's everybody's 1.5%, okay? So then we're going to go on to step 11, okay? So the directions look a little elaborate and a little overwhelming, but they go really fast, okay? So now for column D, this is going to be calculating their sales over 50,000. So we're just going to put 50K. We're just going to abbreviate it. Maybe we want to space that, make it a little bit bigger, and then we're going to make it bold because that's our heading. Okay. So now, if the salesperson gets over $50,000 in sales, they get extra bonuses. Okay. So we've got to figure out the difference between their April sales and 50,000. And the spreadsheet will do that for us. Now, here's where the typing gets a little trickier than what we've been doing before, because it depends on the situation, okay? So I even say in the directions, I say, if the salesperson's April sales are less than 50,000, like Elkins here, okay? He only got 48,000. Then we want 0 to appear in the column, okay? Because he's not gonna get over 50,000. Anybody who did get over 50,000 though, we want the difference of whatever they made and 50,000 to appear in the column. So here's how we got to type that in. So click on D2. I'm going to type equals, but now we have to make it a conditional statement. So we're going to type in IF in capitals, if. And Google's going to try and help us out. They're going to put all these other little commands down here in this pop-up window. Just ignore it, okay? We're going to put if in caps, and then we're going to do in parentheses, I'm going to click on B2. So I'm going to say if column B2 is less than, and that's if you hit shift and then the comma key, you get the less than 50,000. Then we're going to put a comma. We want 0 to appear. Because if they made less than 50,000 like Elkins, I don't want an amount over 50,000. I don't have it, okay? But we can keep going and say, if we add another comma, that tells Google, but if there's something different, then we're going to do B2 minus 50,000. Because the amount in B2 is going to be greater than 50,000 for everybody else. And we want the difference. We want the amount over it. So we've got to take their sales minus the 50,000. So close your parentheses, hit enter, boom, there's Boyce's amount over 50,000. And that should make sense. 53,000 is $3,000 over 50,000. Now I'm going to click on the D2 again, that little blue rectangle pops up, and I'm going to hold that square and drag it down, and boom, there's everybody else's amount over 50,000. Now Elkins is 0 because he didn't go over 50,000. But you should be able to do a quick double check. Cubic is 42,000 over 50,000 because we have to get to 92. And to go from 50 to 64, that's 14,000. So wow, Google did the math correctly for us. We typed in our coding correctly, okay? So now these salespeople also get 3.5 or 3.4% on their sales for the first 50,000. And they get 4.5% over 50,000. So that's why we need to know the over 50,000 amount, okay? So now we're on column E. This is step 12. So we're going to title this the commission for the 3.4%. So commission, and then in parentheses, we'll put 3.4% on the first 50K. And then we'll close the parentheses there. And that went way over my size, so I'm going to scooch the column, click back on that box, make it bold. There we go. There's my title. I can even make it a little bigger. Okay. So now I've got to take 3.4% of any sales up to 50,000. Okay. So again, if the salesperson April sales are greater than 50,000, so if column B is greater than 50,000, then we want to multiply 50,000 by the 3.4%, the decimal for that. If not, if their sales aren't over 50,000, like Elkins, then we want to multiply that amount that they got by the 3.4%, because they're still going to get commission on it. It's just not going to be up to 50,000. Okay, not all the way to the top. And for the other salespeople that went over it, we don't want to count all the 53,000 or all the 92. It's just the first 50. Okay, so that's why there's two conditions here that we have to type in. So it's going to be very particular, like we did before in column D. So I'm going to click on E2, I'm going to click equals, and then I'm going to type in if, in all caps again. Ignore the other stuff that pops up, okay? And then we're going to type in parentheses, and I'm going to click on B2. If B2 is greater than, and that's shift and then the period key, 50,000, and just ignore the stuff that Google's popping up, comma. So if that happens, if their sales are over greater than 50,000, we're just going to take 50,000 times the 3.4%, so 0.034. And then if not, I'm going to add another comma, then we'll just do B2 times the 0.034. And then close our parentheses and hit enter. Okay. Now, when I click on that box again and drag it down, we'll see all the calculations for the other people. Now notice that Boyce and Cubic and Mays are all the same because they're all the people that went over 50,000. So they're going to get 3.4% of 50,000. Elkins, though, didn't get to 50,000. So his number is going to be a little bit less because he was just a little bit under 50,000. He was at 48,000, but he still gets 3.4%. Okay? So you didn't do anything wrong if you've got three numbers that are the same. You're on the right track. Okay, a couple more columns to go. Last thing we have to do is calculate the 4.6%. So if they go over 50,000, and we found that for column D here, so if they went over 50,000, then we're going to multiply that number by 4.6%. So this is just basic multiplication. Okay, we already found our sales over it. We made a whole column for it. Now we've just got to multiply that by the percent that we need. So let's title this commission, oops, and then in parentheses 4.6% over 50K. And then again, I'm going to adjust my column width. Just hover the mouse over that little line and click on it and drag it. And then you can click in the box and hit B. It'll make it bold. Okay. So now, if Boyce went over 50,000, which he did, I'm going to multiply it by 3.4%. So in that box for F2, hit equals. And then we're just going to type in D2. Or you can click on the cell D2, and then we're going to do the star for multiply, and then 0.046, because that's the decimal for 4.6% if we move our decimal over. Don't have to do parentheses this time, so just hit enter, and boom, they calculate the number for you automatically. So fast. Click on that box again, you get the blue triangle, or rectangle, drag it down, there we go, okay? Now, Elkins' amount there is 0 because 0 times anything is 0. Okay, so Elkins doesn't get any extra this time around. Okay, and then the last thing now, we've calculated all their commission. They got their 1.5% commission on their total sales, the 3.4% on the first 50, and then the 4.6 on the stuff over 50. So now we finally are ready to do their total. So this is your last column. Okay. So we'll call it total, and you can make it bold. Okay, so now we just have to add some stuff together, right? We've got our commissions titled there, so it's very easy to see. Don't forget to click equals. You got to tell it what to do, okay? And you don't have to follow up the little prompts that Google's giving you there. Just ignore them. So we want to add, for boys, we want to add C2. So I click on that, and then plus, and then this commission in E2 plus, and then the commission in F2, and then hit enter, and there's the total that Boyce made. And you could add those 3 columns up and you should get the same amount, okay? So click on that cell, get the blue rectangle, click on the square, drag it down, boom, there's everybody's total for this month, for April. So that's how much everybody gets paid, okay? So Cubic is doing really good. He or she is the winner there, okay? So that's what your column should look like, or your sheet should look like so far. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to make up a couple more people, okay? Don't do the same as what I do. I'll put myself in here. I'll pretend I'm a salesperson, and let's do Mrs. Shaver as well, because she taught business math last year, okay? Now let's say that I make $108,000 in sales, because I'm awesome at sales. And Mrs. Shaver, $37,000, okay? Now I'm picking these numbers randomly. You can pick any number you want. Don't do 108,000 and don't do 37,000. Okay, don't just copy me. Make up some other numbers. Don't get too crazy. Don't do like 8 billion. Okay, and don't do like 1 cent. Okay, because you're going to have to do some work for this as well. But if this was my sales now for these other people that I've added in, I don't have to go back and reprogram anything. Just click on C5, that last column up above my row here. Click on that little blue square and drag it down. Okay, do the same for column D. Just click on it, drag it down, click on it, drag it down. Now notice that I picked a number that was over 50,000 and a number that was under 50,000. So Mrs. Shaver is going to have a 0 here for her sales over 50,000. She didn't have any sales over 50,000. Okay, so in this column here, she's going to get another 0 because she doesn't get commission on that amount over 50,000. She didn't go over it. And then click on the total, drag that down, boom. Oh, now Mrs. Neller is the winner of all of them. I even beat out Cubic, okay? So you can play around with that and you can make up some numbers on your own. I'm gonna stop sharing now for just a moment, okay? The last 2 steps that you have to do after you make up your own numbers is that you have to verify the math. You have to show me that Google did the math correctly. Okay, so on paper and pencil, do the 1.5% and then subtract so you get the amount over if there is one, and then show me the 3.4% and the 4.6%. Okay, so do all the math out on a piece of paper and take a picture of it, and you're going to submit that in part of your as part of your assignment. And you're also going to share your Google spreadsheet with me. So when you go in to upload, you'll upload a file and then you'll just select it from your Google Drive and share it with me, okay? We should, cross fingers, we should be able to upload both of those things into the one assignment, okay? And we'll go over this in class. Obviously, if you have any questions, let me know. But if you're absent from class, you can watch this video so you can follow along and see me doing it as well. Okay, thanks guys.